Web exclusive. I'm Mike Montecalvo along with Eyewitness News analyst Lieutenant General Reginald Centracchio. In just a bit, we'll talk about Memorial Day, which is on Monday, and some of the festivities taking place across the state as we remember our veterans who gave the ultimate sacrifice. But we get developing news out of Ramadi, General, obviously the largest city in the Anbar province of Iraq. Islamic State militants attacked and now control that area. A lot of people are looking at this and saying, you know, what's next? Is Baghdad next? Does this reflect the failure of Iraq and their strategy against ISIS?
It reflects a long-standing understanding that Iraq wants the United States there and coalition forces. But you cannot win the war against ISIS unless you have boots on the ground. The United States is reluctant to do that, but I think at some point we're going to have to address that if we stay in Iraq at all. And I think the hazard here is once Baghdad goes down, which is a very real possibility, so goes Iraq.
All right, Ramadi, Fallujah, all gone. Mosul also gone. So that's why I think people are looking at Baghdad. So how do you stop the bleeding here, so to speak?
There's only one way to do it. That's to be able to put overwhelming force on the ground to push them back and eventually destroy them totally. It cannot be done by air power alone, and we've obviously seen that. But I think more importantly is that the Iraqi army has proven itself to be incapable, or at least not wanting to be effective against ISIS. And right now Iraq is depending upon the Shia militia units to be able to defend as best they can against ISIS. That in itself is causing a problem with the Sunni population within Iraq. Real complex scenario.
Well, the Iraqi government had announced a military campaign that envisioned taking back, so to speak, the Anbar province in the coming months and then heading to Mosul. Obviously, that's not working right now, so what happens next?
Next is they have to be able to establish an overwhelming force to stop ISIS from getting any further. And we said that way back when they came out of Syria. And then so went Mosul. And now one of the largest cities within Anbar province, which is Ramadi, and the next significant target would be Baghdad. And that just can't allow it to be happening.
All right, you're talking about boots on the ground here. So how many people or how many soldiers do we need to add to get back to that?
You know, you need to have an overwhelming force, you know, thousands, if you're able to fight the thousands of troops that are coming in under the ISIS flag. And to be able to do that, you've got to be able to have a concerted effort between Iraq, between the coalition forces, the United States, air power, and everything else. It must be an overwhelming response to be able to stop them and destroy them.
Despite everything else, General, this is a PR nightmare for the Pentagon and the White House because, you know, you talk about taking soldiers out, now you're talking about putting them back in.
It is, but I think if you look in retrospectively, I think everybody agrees now, unfortunately, that we should not have left Iraq as soon as we did. And we should not be looking at drawing down all our forces out of Afghanistan. It's just proven that we shouldn't have done that. And now we have an opportunity to correct it while it can be corrected. And I think that's the dilemma that the White House is looking at.
Well, this attack hits close to home. Lance Corporal Matt Sirio of North Providence was killed in Anbar Province back in 2004. He was a Marine that was responding to an uprising in the area. Monday is Memorial Day. We remember Matt and so many others that gave the ultimate sacrifice.
We do, and certainly that's really needed, especially for the families and those left behind. It's really important that we remember those, and not only during Memorial Day, but every single day that we wake up, take a breath of freedom.
Now, you spent more than 48 years in the military. Thank you very much for your service. You've had to go knock on that door and make that phone call saying a loved one passed away. It's got to be one of the toughest things you had to do as a general.
That is no doubt about it. That is one of the most challenging things you can do, and there's no words that you can put to it. All you can do is to hopefully maintain your emotion and do a lot of listening and doing a lot of praying for that family. Terrible, terrible mission to have to perform.
You know, just looking at some numbers, 25,000 Rhode Islanders lost in World War II, 5,000 between Iraq and Afghanistan, but at least the perception has changed in 2015 as we look at the soldiers as compared to the soldiers coming back from the Vietnam War.
It is, exactly, and that's the exact point. All the way through Vietnam, right up till Vietnam, there was somewhat of a respect for our soldiers because they were making that ultimate sacrifice. Vietnam happened and there was a total change in the culture. To the point where people were blaming the military for that travesty. And after we get out of Vietnam, we're getting back to the time where there's respect for our soldiers, and we need to maintain that.
All right, General, thank you very much, and thanks for watching.